Announcing your plans. It's a good way to hear God laugh.
It appears we must redefine the nature of our association.
Okay, here we go. Can we get from Sanctuary at, where I am currently just over a level and a half. Well, not really a level and a half, because you don't start at level 0, you start at level 1. But I am currently about 2/3 or so, maybe a little bit less, up to level 2. And so let's see if I can get all the way to Starlight Drive-in, and what level I am by the time I get there. Now, I'm going to, yeah, let's do this. I'm going to kind of take the long way around. Just to avoid certain, this is just a verification that I can get there. You know, without running into too many things. Not so much whether, I mean, if I were actually playing, there's certain things that I would try to do beforehand, you know, as not really beforehand, but on my way down, certain things I would try to do. And so let's see if I can accomplish this without too much effort. Oh, we may want to wear that drifter's outfit. We'll find out. I don't know why I'm looting all this, because I'm not saving this. But hey, you never know. I'm gonna try to avoid. Nah, I want to take the puppy. More than likely, I would take the puppy anyway.
Hey, boy. What are you doing out here all by yourself? You lose your owner, buddy?
Yeah, I got a puppy.
Okay, then. Let's stick together. Hey.
What? Oh. What? What? Something else in here? Uh-oh, you hear something? Alright. You alright, buddy? Oh. Alright. Oh boy. Let's try this out again. Okay. Alright. We are going wide. We don't want to run into anything we don't have to. Where are we at for level? Okay, we're almost to level 2 now. So what we have to do is try to get there without too many more Imperial entanglements. And that's the real challenge, isn't it? It'll cost you. See, I just discovered a place that in and of itself is going to give the opportunity for a level. So when we get down here, we're going to have more mole rats to contend with. Who are these yahoos? Hi guys.
With this, we commit our friend, Blake.
Hi Blake.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. May he find peace with the Lord. Amen. Would anyone like to say anything before we move on?
Blake was a great guy and an even better friend.
I'll miss
He
Blake.
was taken from us too soon, but he won't be forgotten.
I agree.
I hope you know how I felt about you.
Yep.
Even if I
Sure
couldn't
do.
say it to your face. Now you're gone.
So everybody should mark that spot right there because that is a random encounters spot that you will have random encounters, but only early in the game. I don't know what level you have to be to experience that, but it's very low level, so that's something to keep in mind. Alright, so we're going to stay wide of there, and then we're going to stay wide of Drumlin Diner as well. And we don't want to trigger the encounter at Drumlin Diner. Now if we wanted to, there's Carla that we could, you know, do some talking to, but we're not really interested in that. We're just trying to get down here at as low of a level as we possibly can. What's the matter, boy? Okay, so we're getting really close now. What?
Yo, psst. How you doing, buddy? Hey, boy. You know any tricks?
Aw, how cute. Alright, buddy, let's go. You just made me use up all my ammo. One another reason to not worry about this. Die, blood bug. Alright. Didn't even get any food. I don't know about you, Drive. Look, I leveled up, level 2 here. I don't know about you, buddy, but this looks like a great spot to have set up a place to live and do stuff.
Nice.
Alright. Need to clear the place of enemies. Alright, is that enough to accomplish our mission here? Let's just have a look. There we go. Allows you to adjust, remove, and blah blah blah. Hey, look. Okay. What level are we? We are just a smidge over level 2. So if I wanted to, I could level up now. So it is completely possible that if you go the right route, you can avoid most of the action. And you can see, I picked up dog meat. I had to kill some stuff there. I killed one enemy on my way down, and I got myself a dog meat. So it is completely possible to get here at level 2 or lower. Well, not so much slower. I mean, you could probably get here at level 2 or lower. Maybe even level up like right after you get here or something like that. But hey, buddy. Interesting to note. Okay, buddy, what do you think? So should we... Stop trying to run me over. Should we use this as our basis for a level 2? Let's do this. What do you think? Dog meat? I got a question for you. What do you think if we decide that we are going to do... you can be up to level 3. So, excuse me, you can easily be level 2 to get here, but we will give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you could get up to level 3 to get here, because results may vary, right? So let's go ahead and go with that argument, and just to prove a point, we're going to walk back while we go through some of our other items that we're going to discuss. Okay, so settled on a few things. The settlement will be Starlight Drive-in. The reason for that is that it's wide open. There's plenty of places to build around there. It doesn't have a ridiculously large amount of materials, but it does have some that you can get started with. It's going to require you to have to build all of your workstations except for the cooking station right out the gate. So you're not going to have all of those to begin with. You're not going to have pre-made buildings that you can allow you to avoid building something. And it's, again, it's a large area. So that's why I decided to do Starlight Drive-in. Plus, you can get there at a relatively low level, and the idea is to start as quickly as possible. So, and as you saw, I just tested making my way there, and I was able to get there and leveled up to 2 after I got there. So we'll do max level of 3, and you can be level 3 but not 4. Okay, so that's pretty important as well. So as I mentioned, this is going to give everyone a margin of error to be able to get there without too much challenge, but also let them do a little bit of exploring on their way down. So I think that'll be important too. That way you can do some little bit of exploring, doing some killing, do some scavenging, so you can have more stuff when you do show up there. So that'll be important. Um, it is okay to use to as you're playing through to set up other settlements, um, but the updates will only come from Starlight Drive-in. You could do an update saying that you have a supply line from one settlement, from Starlight Drive-in to, let's say, Sanctuary, uh, you know, and that would be fine, but you're not going to do the update from Sanctuary. It's going to be from Starlight Drive-in. In regards to quests and activities that you do to help you level up and that kind of thing, completely up to you. I don't care which faction you go with. If you even go with a faction, um, you don't have to be even associated with a faction. I would encourage you to do some sort of role playing. Try to create a story with it, have a little bit of fun with it, and that kind of thing. Um, so uh, there will be a weekly update, as we've mentioned before, and that weekly update will be between level 3 and 4. Um, I would encourage you to at least get to level up 3 times between updates, but it'd probably actually be better to level up 4 times so you can level up at least 4 times, meaning that you can get to level 4, level up 4 times, but you cannot level up 5 times. So potentially in your second update, you could be level 7, right? So you could be anywhere from 4 if you got there Starlight at level 1 still, all the way up to level 7. So I think that'll be good. It's important for everyone to realize it's all right to play ahead. You can, when you start out, if you play for an afternoon, you could easily be, level 10, 12, 15, depending on how much time you dedicate. And just keep in mind that, every 3 to 4 levels after you first unlock the settlement, do your first update. Every 3 to 4 levels, do your update video, and then do your update video or take your pictures, whatever it is, and then go back to doing your leveling. Nothing, doesn't have to be too terribly major. That way you can kind of get, move on as far as you can, while you're playing. So, that's definitely perfectly fine. You just need to be able to be prepared to not show those updates until that time period when the next week when it's due or what have you. So um, now for the section that's going to probably cause the most amount of debate and questions and that type of thing. Mods. Some mods are allowed. I will allow some mods. And some building mods are allowed, but you cannot use any mods that give you anything ahead of what a vanilla player would have at a certain level, right? So you could not use a mod that's going to give you ballistic weave at level 1, where you can ballistic weave all of your stuff. Reason being that, for ballistic weave, you need to be able to have your armor bench built up to a certain level before you can apply ballistic weave. You need to be able to do the missions to put in ballistic weave. That's just an example. I mean, I know I'm not super familiar with mods because I don't use mods, but I know there's mods out there that give you all kinds of different benefits and stuff that you can get right away, and we definitely want to avoid that. We want to try to keep this as even of a playing field as possible, and the idea is to, when you do take perks, that you plan out those perks accordingly, because you don't want to go heavy building perks and then, you know, forget about your armor perk and your weapons perks, something that's going to keep you alive and allow you to kill things as you're running around. So that's always important. No cheat mods whatsoever and no console commands, meaning no free maker, no free. There's another one, I can't remember what it's called. Um, uh, something that there's one that lets you just make a Gauss rifle with all the bells and whistles on it, at level 1. You cannot use that. That's kind of one of the examples. You can't use the ones that, allows you to just give yourself a bunch of materials or a bunch of caps or a bunch of levels or perks or what have you. No console commands to do any of the same stuff. That would not be allowed either. Um, Let me see. So, any mod that just gives you clothing, mods that maybe give you different building materials, as long as those building materials have um, an average cost, average to what a vanilla user would use. So, if the mod only requires you to one cap to build a wall or whatever it is, that would not be acceptable because the cost for you building that wall is much less than what it would be for everyone else that is not using that type of a mod. So to keep it fair, nothing like that that's going to give you an unfair advantage to where, um, you know, you would not have to, that's going to decrease the amount of hard work that you're going to have to do gathering and that kind of thing to be able to build the things that you want to be able to build. Um, and then, so basically everything that follows a natural progression of the perks that you would receive. So I don't mind if you use mods that um, would be like something that allows you to do, say, ballistic weave and a type of clothing that you don't normally get to put it in because, I don't care what you dress like, provided that, that ballistic weave isn't being applied before a level that seems applicable that you can put it in. So that's important to note. Um, so that's really the big thing there. The only glitches that are allowed are size glitches and pillar glitches. There's no duplication glitches allowed at all. There's the one duplication glitch that you can do with the buttons and all that kind of stuff, and there's also the duplication glitch that you can do using the um, conveyor belts. Neither of those are allowed. So all of the materials that you use and all the decorations that you use have to be ones that you acquire yourself, either through purchasing from a vendor or finding out in the environment. So that's important. Creation Club is allowed. Everybody has access to it. You may have chosen not to use it, but everybody does have access to it. So Creation Club is allowed. Plus, those of us that have Creation Club can't just turn it off. So unlike a mod that you can turn off, you can't do that with Creation Club stuff. It's already in there. Um, in regards to the weekly updates, and a lot of people are kind of maybe fretting about this. So weekly update, if you're doing a weekly update that's a video, um, that update might only be a minute long. It doesn't have to be some massive thing, but I want to say no more than 5 minutes. Maybe you do a lot of building and so you want to show it off. Great. Just be, kind of quick about it. We don't need a full settlement tour, just what you've done during that time period. Ideally, maybe 3 minutes long for stuff would be, better suited because there's probably, hopefully, going to be a lot of stuff for people to watch, and that way everybody can, um, you know, get everything watched in a timely fashion. So, if you are not going to do a video, then just a few pics of what you've done um, and to show off what you've done. When you do the weekly updates, an example might be that you show that you've built a generator and a settlement beacon, and or maybe you do one that shows you set up supply lines and you've built a level 1 bar, something like that. And so that way, you can kind of show that, hey, look, I now have a level 1 bar. Um, Monthly updates will be a brief tour of the settlement or pictures of that settlement. Again, try to keep it as small as you can, 5 minutes or less, preferably. But I know as we get through the levels, those tours are gonna get to be a bit longer. So you want to kind of show off your whole settlement that you have on those monthly updates. So that's why the difference between the weekly and the monthly. The weekly is just showing exactly what you did for your update, whereas the monthly is kind of showing how everything is working all together for your entire settlement. So uh, as far as the uh, um, the updates go, if anyone wants to allow others access to their videos, because I plan on anybody that allows me access to their videos, I plan on doing a consolidation video of everybody's updates and not just videos, but if they have pics, I'll put them in a slideshow if they want me to include those. And so if you plan on doing something like that, if you want to do something like that, then if you want to use other people's stuff, you have to be prepared to allow them to use your stuff. Anybody that, if you are not going to let other people use your videos, then you will not be allowed to use anyone else's. It just only seems fair. So that's important to keep in mind there. You don't have to share your videos. I will ask that everybody that's doing this challenge please provide me with a link to where I can find your updates, whether it's your channel, um, so that way I can share your channel with everyone, and so that way everybody knows where to go to find the updates. And I will put links to everybody's locations on my in the description of my monthly update. So if you are doing pictures and you've got them on Facebook or Reddit or Imager or anything like that, let me know where I can find those so I can show them off to people. If you don't want to share them with me, but even if you do want to share them with me, I still want to um, point people to where they can find your other work. If you have other work out there, that way you can, gives you an opportunity to kind of share what you do and let everybody kind of experience what you do and see more of your stuff. So it's a way to kind of promote everybody as they go. So I will need your links and that kind of thing. If you want to have a reminder for the updates, the weekly updates, I will do a 24-hour reminder before the weekly updates, and I will do a 48-hour reminder before the weekly updates, and I could also throw in a 24-hour reminder as well. Weekly updates, as I mentioned in my first video, will be on Thursdays, and the monthly updates will be on, I believe I said Sunday. I'll double check that and make sure I get it in the description. But Thursdays will definitely be the weekly updates. Um, the first update will be on March 1st. You can start playing now. It's important that you know that. You can start playing now and get well ahead of everyone if you wanted to. Um, we are going to do a total of 12 updates, not counting monthly, 12 weekly updates. Okay, so even on the weeks that we have a monthly update, basically every 4, even on those weeks, we will still also have a weekly update. So we'll have a total of 12 weekly updates, and that would result in about 3 monthly updates, if my math is correct. So, um, by all means, I just don't want to, drag this out um, to the point where it becomes like a lot of work to keep trying to do the updates because, as we all know, as you get farther up in the levels, the longer it takes to get a new level. So I want to make sure that we kind of put the goal in a decent range, but at the same time, once the quote unquote entire challenge is done, that doesn't mean you can't continue doing updates for this. If you do, let me know if you want to continue doing updates. I plan on still doing updates with mine, to up until I have something that is completely what I feel like is a complete finished product. Um, the conclusion, by the time the last of your updates is done, you need to have a level 3 vendor for every vendor type, right? So you need to have a level 3 bar, level 3 clothing, level 3 general store, level 3 armor, weapons, and a level 3 clinic. And you need to have at least one scavenging station with somebody working it and one weapon station with somebody working it. And you need to have all of the workbenches, so that should be simple enough. You'll probably want to have those anyway. And enough food for every settler that's there. So if you have 15 settlers, you need to have 15 food, and you need to have at least 15 water. Okay, so that way that settlement is fully functioning. And I'm going to add in one last thing. You need to have at least one supply line to one other settlement. I don't care which settlement it is, but at least one supply line. Okay, so that would be what I would consider a fully functioning settlement. That, it doesn't have to be, your best settlement you've ever built, or an absolute piece of work of art or anything like that. By all means, I encourage everybody to make it look as great as possible, but it doesn't have to be like what you would consider a finished settlement. It just has to be a fully functioning settlement, right? So that is the what your ultimate goal is at the end of your all of your updates. It needs to at least reach that position. Finally, something to remember is, as I mentioned before, role playing is encouraged. Have fun with this. If you have questions about any of the stuff that I mentioned, let me know. I'll be more than happy to weigh in on and answer your questions or what have you. And last of all, um, but not least, last but not least, um, it's the journey, not the destination. The destination's obviously important. We need to know how long we're going to do this for and what the ultimate goal is, so we know that we've actually accomplished what the total goal is. But have fun with the entire process. I think that's where the whole thing for me is going to be the most fun, is that process of doing these updates and watching the settlement evolve and progress. So that way, you know, over time you can see how the settlement just changes and grows and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes some of us, we'll build and we'll just go, I'm going to go build at Taffington Boathouse, and I'm just going to go there and you just build it up, and maybe you already have all of the perks and everything that you need. And you just go build up, and spend a week or two, whatever it takes you to build it up to a finished settlement, and boom, there you are. You don't see it grow, you don't see it evolve, you don't see it take place over time like you would with something like this, or maybe like your settlements did when you first started playing. Maybe you built someplace like Sanctuary when you first started playing. You just started building all kinds of crazy stuff, and then you come back later and you're like, oh, I'm gonna update that and make that better. And as you get more stuff, you make it better and that kind of thing. This is to help harken back to that type of feeling. So like I said, everybody have fun with it. Let me know if you have any questions. Please start providing me with your channels if I don't already know them. Um, most of the people that I know that's going to be doing this, I know your channels. But if anybody that's going to do it that I don't know, please let me know who you are, so that way I can share your channels. And let me know if you want reminders. And like I said, you can get started now. That's perfectly fine. If you haven't already started, you can start now if you want to. I know there's a lot of people that are anxious. Like I said, let me know if you have any questions. You can DM me if you want, and I'll reply back to however you contact me. So thank you very much, and happy building.
Bye bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle.
Goodbye.
Thank you.